A boy vanished on a plane in midair. But years later, he came back with a shocking story. 9-year-old Ethan Parker was flying with his mother Samantha from New York to London. The flight was long, and Ethan fell asleep by the window. Samantha sat beside him and slowly dozed off too. When the plane landed, Samantha gently lifted Ethan's blanket, but he wasn't there. His seat was empty. She panicked instantly. She looked down the aisle, checked the bathroom, and begged the flight attendants to help. The crew searched the entire aircraft. They checked storage areas, closets, and even the luggage compartments, but Ethan was gone. He had vanished while the plane was still in the air. Airport security was called. Cameras were reviewed. Passengers were questioned, but no one saw Ethan leave. There were no signs of a struggle. Case stayed open, but no answers came. Samantha and her husband Daniel were completely heartbroken. For 6 years, they searched everywhere, but found nothing. Then one day, a phone call changed everything. At 15 years old, Ethan walked into a small clinic in France. A man beside him claimed he was Ethan's uncle, exhausted. The man told the doctor that Ethan just had the flu. The doctor's name was Dr. Renard. He asked Ethan simple questions: where he was born, where he lived before, who his parents were. But Ethan didn't know. He looked confused, almost scared. His answers were short and quiet. That's when Dr. Renard became suspicious. He checked the boy's ID card, but it looked fake. The photo didn't match perfectly, and some of the information seemed off. Then Dr. Renard noticed something else: a small birthmark behind Ethan's ear, and he had seen that exact mark before. Years ago, he had read about a missing boy who had the same birthmark. The doctor left the room and searched online. His hands started shaking. The boy sitting in his clinic was Ethan Parker, the child who had disappeared during a flight 6 years earlier. Dr. Renard didn't say anything to the man. He stayed calm and quietly called the police. When officers arrived, they took the man into custody. Later, Ethan finally told his story. On the night he vanished, he was asleep on the plane. He said a man came from a hidden panel inside the aircraft. The man covered Ethan's mouth and carried him into a secret space near the cargo area. No one saw anything. When the plane landed, the man slipped out with Ethan unnoticed. For 6 years, Ethan was kept hidden. They moved through different countries, using fake papers and false names. The man kept Ethan indoors most of the time and taught him at home. Ethan was warned never to speak to strangers, so sick that the man had no choice. He had to take him to a doctor, and that one decision changed everything. Ethan's parents, Samantha and Daniel, flew to France immediately. When they saw their son, they broke down crying. Ethan was thin, shaken, and terrified, but he was alive. And for the first time in 6 years, he was finally safe. The world was shocked all over again. A child taken from a plane in midair and returned years later. But because one doctor noticed one tiny detail, Ethan came home.
Grandpa Elias loved one thing more than anything: his old television. It was huge, heavy, and covered in dust. He kept it in the basement like it was treasure, but he had a strict rule: no one could touch it. He said it was sensitive and would break, but the weird part was, it wasn't even plugged in. I noticed that when I was younger. The cord was cut, yet Grandpa still talked to it sometimes, like it could hear him. One day, Grandpa passed away. He was 87. The family came to clean the house. I went down into the basement alone to grab boxes. It smelled like cold cement and old paper. Then I saw the TV, still sitting there, still unplugged. I walked closer, and suddenly, the screen turned on. Bright white light, static. I jumped back so hard I almost fell. The TV made a buzzing sound. Then the static stopped, and a voice came through. It was Grandpa's voice, slow, weak, like a recording. "Don't go down there." My whole body froze. Then the screen changed. It showed the basement. From a camera angle above the stairs, I stared, confused. Because the basement didn't have a camera, but on the screen, I could see myself standing there. Live, the voice spoke again. "Not the wall, not the wall." My heart started racing. I looked around wildly. Then I noticed something I had never seen before. A section of the basement wall looked different, like the paint didn't match. I took a step toward it. The TV volume suddenly got louder. Grandpa's voice shouted, "Stop!" I flinched so hard my chest hurt. The screen flickered fast, and for 1 second I saw a face behind me, not mine, something pale, standing in the darkness near the stairs. Then the TV went black, complete silence. I ran upstairs shaking. Later that day, when my uncle came down with me, the wall section was gone. It looked normal again, like it had never been different. But I never forgot what the TV showed, because Grandpa wasn't warning me about the basement. He was warning me about what was down there with me.
Grandma Rosa was warm and loving. She made the best soup, gave the best hugs, and always smelled like flowers. But she had one strict rule. No one was allowed in the attic. The attic door was in the hallway ceiling. It had a chain lock on it, and Grandma checked it every night before bed. If anyone asked why, she'd smile and say, "It's just old things." But her voice was serious, staring up at the attic door. She asked, "Grandma, what's up there?" Grandma's smile faded. "Don't ask again," she said. Sophia never forgot that moment came to clean her home. They went through old clothes, books, and pictures. But Sophia couldn't stop looking at the attic door. It was still locked, still chained. Her mom sighed. "She never wanted us up there," she said. "Just let her rest." But Sophia couldn't. That night, she called her friend Jaden. Jaden was the type who loved scary stories, and he had a ladder in his truck. The next evening, they came back quietly. They placed the ladder under the attic door. Sophia's hands shook as she reached for the chain. She unlocked it. The attic door dropped down with a loud creak. Dust fell like snow. Sophia climbed up slowly. The attic was dark and colder than the rest of the house. Jaden handed her a flashlight. The beam swept across the room. At first, Sophia saw old boxes and thing that made her freeze. A small mattress on the floor, like someone had been sleeping up there. Next to it was a water bottle and a plate. Not old, not dusty, recent. Sophia swallowed hard. Then she saw the wall. It was covered in drawings, hundreds of drawings. Crying. A little girl locked inside a room. Sophia's chest tightened. She stepped closer and saw something else, a child's backpack. Inside the backpack was a notebook. Sophia opened it. The first page had one sentence written in messy handwriting. "If you found this, please help me." Sophia's mouth went dry. She turned to Jaden. "What is this?" Jaden didn't answer, because he had found something in the corner. A door. A small wooden door built into the attic wall. It wasn't part of the house. It looked added later. Jaden reached for the handle, and Sophia grabbed his wrist. "Don't," she whispered. But Jaden slowly opened it anyway. The door creaked, and the flashlight beam revealed a tiny room, empty, except for one thing, a name carved into the wall. Sophia. Sophia stepped back, shaking, because she understood the truth in one. Grandma didn't lock the attic to protect the family from old things, protect the family from what happened up there.
A dad noticed his daughter's grave was the only one still green, so he hid a camera nearby. What it recorded shocked him. 2 years after his daughter Sophie passed away, Daniel still visited her grave almost every week. He couldn't let go. It was the only place that made him feel close to her. One afternoon, he arrived with fresh flowers and froze. Something was wrong, but in a good way. The grass around Sophie's grave was bright green and healthy. It looked full of life. But the rest of the cemetery was dry, dusty, and brown. The weather had been harsh for months, and nothing should have been growing like that. Daniel looked around, confused. No other grave looked the same. It didn't make sense. He asked the cemetery workers if they watered that spot or gave it special care. They shook their heads and said no. They treated every grave the same, no exceptions, but Daniel couldn't stop thinking about it. So a few days later, he came back quietly and placed a small hidden camera near the grave, tucked behind a stone where no one would notice it. For the first few days, nothing happened. The footage was boring, just empty pathways, wind, and silence. But then one night, the camera caught something, a shadow moving between the graves. Slow, careful. Someone was walking straight toward Sophie's grave. And what they did next made Daniel's stomach drop.